Hello chess lovers, Chess Hoodie here. Welcome to the new game. Let's see what happened. I was black against Big Carp who had 2060 elite chess rating. So he opened with knight f3 and after d6, d4, knight d7. I obviously want to put my pawn on e5. He went b3 and I played e5. Now it was a good time for him to change his plan and maybe go into some kind of Philidor position. I'll just put a sample line. This seems perfectly normal. But he was true to what he started and he played bishop b2, which allows this move. So after e4, knight went back. As you can see, I have 8 minutes 25 seconds here, and I wasted almost 3 minutes trying to figure out if this works. Yeah, after 2.5 minutes, I realized that it's not so good, so I played f5, but I was short of 3 minutes. So white played e3, and now a typical plan is to put the pawn here. I mean, not for this opening, but for similar type of openings, because this opening, I don't even know what it is. But when you have this kind of structure, you put your pawn there, and white has a simple plan. Develop and later push like this, because I will have a pawn here. And I was aware of this from many classical games or chess classics, but I wanted to be tricky. So what I wanted is to see where will white castle. So if he castles queenside, then I decided to go for that structure. If he goes to the king side, I thought I should make it a little bit tricky by not pushing. It was not that smart, but that was my thinking. So I played knight f6, and here, for example, he can open up his bishop by playing d5. It looks like a pawn sacrifice because it is, but for tactical reasons it works. This is a sample line where this check at the end is very unpleasant. I have to block, and now I have trouble on this diagonal. Of course he has to move the queen, but after that I cannot play bishop g7. So d5 was possible, but he didn't do it, and it makes sense because it's hard to see that's the move. Let's see what was next. He played c4, and again I should do this, but I decided not to do it until he castles queenside, which was incorrect, but that was my thinking, to be honest. So we developed a little bit, and now he is not even sacrificing a pawn by pushing here, but I thought, okay, only if his knight gets here I'm in trouble, and how will this knight get there? So I thought it's not easy, but that was wrong. After the game I was looking at it and I realized that there is this simple maneuver, very simple. The knight gets to d4 and pressures me here, and it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant for the peasant, as they say. But after knight c3, this loses some power because then this knight cannot easily get there. Yeah, it's very tough. Also, I'm preventing this maneuver in case he pushes d5. So queen c2, queen e8. Now I'm ready. If he castles here, my queen is ready to join the fray, and that would be unpleasant for him. So I think best for him was to delay castling, but he decided to go queenside, and now, true to my plan, I played d5, because in this position, the main idea for white, if he wants to be active, is to undermine this pawn. But with his king behind B and C files, that's not really easy to do. So he, rightfully so, declined on that plan. So he went king b1, and now I wanted to provoke a3, and I decided to do it with the bishop, but there was another way. With this knight, for example, knight b8, let's say some move, knight a6, threatening to go to b4, and after we provoke a3, we transfer the knight here, and we have a very nice central control. It's like like French defense, classical French defense with colors reversed, where here me as black, which is actually white in French, I have a very good central control and firm control over the d5 square, so I can take with a piece always. So I don't know, I like this for black, but during the game I didn't see it. I started with this bishop provocation. It worked, and now I came back. So he took on d5, and here I didn't want to take with the pawn because I didn't want to let him trade off this bishop. For example, attacks, I have to move, and now this is a trade which in the end gets me rid of my good bishop, and I'm left with this poor guy. It's playable, but I didn't like it. So I took with the knight. I took with the knight. So now if he does that, there is no knight to attack. Yeah, the knight gets exchanged. So knight c4, attacking the bishop, bishop b8, exchange, exchange. And here I was expecting knight e5. And I said to myself before this happened, so I'm just going to let this knight here. I'm going to play around it, trying to bring up my forces and see what happened next. So I was ready to suffer with that knight there. But what my opponent did is he let me do everything I wanted with the knight here, because he went there. Maybe he was afraid of exchanges here. Yeah, I think I can win a pawn. I cannot. I couldn't win a pawn because there is this kind of business. But I don't know. He went back, and now I can do what I planned, slowly bring up my pieces without having to deal with the knight on e5. It's a huge difference. So now White's position gets problematic. He finds a good maneuver, knight b1, trying to improve his knight. And I played an anti-positional move here, knight b6, because of course this pawn is making this knight look stupid, and black's pawn is also preventing a knight from moving there. So that knight doesn't have much prospect, but my plan was to sacrifice it, to sacrifice this knight in the future. So I expected something like this, and then some kind of sacrifices on a4. That was my plan. Was it sound? We'll see. So he played rook c1, bishop d7. Here, a good move was f4. I did play it later, but I thought that I don't need to rush. But actually, I was wrong. Because if I slow down, like I did, he himself can block me with g3, which he didn't. And what's the idea behind f4? So it's not that you're playing on two flanks. It's just to have some tension and extra options. So I'm attacking, of course, on the queen side. But it's good to have an extra option of something like this if needed. So then white can get kind of in, on a wrong foot or something. It's tougher for him to defend his position. So f4 was a good positional move, which I failed to play. And he should have prevented it on each of the following moves. So same here, f4 was recommended, but I played a5 first, and he decided to block me. He should block this guy. Because when I push, he can push. And so now I got this square, and this was all in preparation for the future sacrifice. Now I played f4. I should have done it earlier, but I didn't see that he can block. So bishop d1, bishop b4, bishop c3, and at this point there is a simple way to continue. Just prepare b5, yeah? Go knight c8, make this possible, and then it's very tough for white. But I planned to sack my knight maybe 5-6 moves ago. That was my plan, or a bishop, and I decided to sacrifice the bishop, which was a wrong move, because after this, if white were cool and played queen a2, I don't have anything. This attack, I mean, I can play b5, but he's just gonna not react. He's not gonna take and let me advance. He's just sitting. It's hard to penetrate here. I don't know. But of course, so he had a little bit less than 5 minutes, and I had a minute on the clock, and it's not much time. And so my opponent made a mistake. This is actually a losing move because obviously now the A file will be decisive. Yeah, not that I will checkmate him. I mean, in some variation, yes, but this is a serious threat. A serious threat. So the queen was hanging. He removed. I opened the F file. I was thinking sometimes I might need this. I didn't see it clearly, but I thought it's good to open up. And now B5. Yeah. So the mentioned plan. Rook F1. And here, I checked this with an engine, and the engine says that black should go something like this, and black is just winning because these are monsters. But in this position, I thought to myself, let's keep another pair of rooks to make the attack more deadly. And I was basing this on the calculation of the following line. Bishop b3 takes, 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 queen e6. And I thought that this pin is deadly. What I failed to see is that when the bishop moved, the first rank opened, so white has a simple move, rook c1, and I cannot win material. Yeah. So the problem was that in this position there is a bishop here that prevents, and in my mind I thought I didn't see that this rook can come to defense. But white didn't see it, and after this he's totally lost because now b takes a4. I don't know, there was some I don't know what to suggest. It's a bad position. After a few more moves, actually this pawn is very dangerous. It is threatening to promote because this guy is gonna support it. So yeah, that's a completely busted position. So here my opponent resigned, and as you can see, I didn't play so well. Many strategic inaccuracies, some tactical ones, and also an unsound piece sacrifice, but in the end it resulted with a win. Thank you for watching and see you again. Bye!